Hi, and welcome back to Wednesday Wisdom here at Judaica.com. I'm Isaac. This is Chana. We're sorry we missed you last week, right?
Yes.
We were on hiatus last week, unfortunately, but we're back again this week, right? And this week actually it's a pretty big week in, on the Jewish calendar. What's going on this week?
So we got two different things. Well,
This week.
this week is Tisha B'av.
Tisha B'av, right? So we're in the middle of the 9 days.
Correct.
So the 9 days between the first day of the month of the month of Av until the 9th day of Av, Tisha B'av, is generally thought as the saddest time in the Jewish calendar. A number of things happened on Tisha B'av, historical events that allow us to mourn,
Right.
heavily. Mourning, obviously, Tisha B'av is we're fasting, no eating, no drinking.
Right. No wearing leather shoes.
No wearing leather shoes, no washing, none of that stuff. It's a lot of stuff going on, obviously. But it commemorates at least 4 different things that I know of. Both temples were destroyed on this day.
Mm-hmm.
What else we got? We got the spies came back from Israel,
Correct.
and they provided their negative reports on Tisha B'av. Actually, this year that we celebrated on the 10th day of Av, right? It's not because it's Shabbos.
Correct.
The 9th day is actually Shabbos, so it gets pushed off to the 9th because we don't fast on Shabbos unless it's Yom Kippur.
Correct.
Yom Kippur we'll fast, but no other time. World War I actually was the Duke of Serbia
Right.
was shot. Actually, the event that instigated World War I happened on Tisha B'av, and also you know the expulsion from Spain in 1492, right? Was Tisha B'av as well. These are all bad events,
Right,
by the way.
you know.
Generally, in world history, these are bad events, and I know that there were probably some other things that happened
Sure,
as well.
there are some other negative things
But,
that occurred.
So anyway, on Tisha B'av, we sit in shul, we sit on low stools just like you're mourning. There's actually some liturgy. There are keynotes. There's special poems. I don't know if I'd call them poems, just whatever. They're poems about the different terrible things that happened and the mourning that we have over losing the temple, of leaving Jerusalem, of when after the first temple we were exiled to Babylonia, and after the second temple, obviously with the Roman conquest. Those things happened. We also have, when we read on Tisha B'av, we read the Megillah of Eicha. That's sort of the centerpiece of mourning, where it's read on Tisha B'av night, which this year will be on Saturday night, right after Shabbos. We don't wear leather shoes, so you have to actually prepare in advance before Shabbos to leave your slippers or whatever that in shul before Shabbos to get ready, because you don't want to bring them on Shabbos to this. But we have actually. It's an interesting thing. Art School just came out with, this is pretty new, it's the Medrash Rabbah, but they go through it just like they go through most of the other things that Art School does, and it's a line-by-line translation with explanations at the bottom. And I gotta tell you, it really brings a new look and a new understanding a new way to open up the Medrash to the masses. And this is actually Eicha. We have this in our warehouse in stock, but you can order it now. You're getting a little late to order for Tisha B'av, but whatever. The second thing we wanted to get to though is next week. And next week, next Thursday is Tu B'av.
Yes.
Tu B'av, we go from the saddest day of the year, which is Tisha B'av, to Tu B'av, the 15th of Av, which is the Gemara in Tana says it's the happiest day of the year.
Yes.
And what what we do on that day?
I mean, there are
How do we celebrate?
I mean, people kind of correlate it to the Jewish Valentine's Day.
Okay, so that's correct, but it's specifically one of the main practice, aside from we don't say Tachanun in shul,
Right.
is unmarried women dress in white and go outside to the fields.
Oh.
You know what? So I'll give you a little genesis. It's a lot of fun. In fact, actually, good friends of mine put a huge Tu B'av white party on in New York City.
Okay.
And they're old friends of mine from college, and I see, they've been doing it for a number of years already, and a number of shidduchim have happened, like matches have been made from these events, and I think it's pretty cool.
Great.
So anyway, so
Dressing in white, finding a field. Got it.
finding it well, and you can find. I think in New York it takes place at the South Street Seaport or something like that. So it's not a field.
Okay, next Thursday I won't be here.
But in any case, so the Gemara in Tanis actually talks about the two happiest days of the year are Tisha B'av, which is next Thursday, and Yom Kippur. Now that also the Gemara also correlates this with the beginning and the end of the grape harvest. So being not just Judaica.com, but our sister company is KosherWine.com, so we are very much tied to the grape harvest. It's something that we know we're in tune with. So this is actually correct, where the grape harvest is beginning. In fact, many wineries are having like major events for harvest. I know that the Herzog Winery, is it next week or the week after, is having a big harvest dinner. If you want to go out to Oxnard, they're having big harvest dinners. That's cool. It's pretty cool. So the end of the grape harvest is right around Yom Kippur. Obviously not on Yom Kippur itself, but that's when the end of the harvest is. And so the Tisha B'av is actually tying back into Tisha B'av. So on Tisha B'av, I remember we said that the spies came back and gave their negative report about the land. When we were in the desert, the Bnei Israel, Moshe sent out spies, 12 spies, and 10 came back with bad reports about the land. And Bnei Israel was punished. They were punished. You know they were punished? No. Okay. Well, they were punished by not being allowed to. And the members of that generation, the first generation out of Egypt, were not allowed to enter the land of Israel.
Right.
And how did they know? Like, how did they know? So every Tisha B'av, the anniversary of that date, Israel would dig graves in the ground, and I guess over 40 years, a 40th of them would not get up again. So they would go in, and on the last year, on the 40th year, they did the same practice, and at that point, there were 15. I read this. There were 15,000 Jews that were still left from that first generation.
Wow.
And they went in on Tisha B'av night, got up in the morning. No one was obviously they were all still there.
Right.
They said, "Okay, well, we're going to go again." And they did it again, and this is the 9th of Av, and they went all the way to the 15th of Av. You know why they went to the 15th of Av? Because the 15th of Av is a new moon. And they obviously knew, okay, if we were off on the dates that much, by the time it gets to the new moon, they're not off anymore. So that's why they celebrated. They not just celebrated. It also comes down to, and this is why it affects. This is why the tie-in with shidduchim and getting married, especially with single women, is because in the times of in the desert. This ties into last week's parsha actually with Benos Tzlafchad, the daughters of Tzlafchad, who complained to Moshe that they didn't get it, that their father died and only had daughters, and they were going to be excluded from inheriting their portion of the land. And the laws were changed that women were allowed to the people who had the fathers who had no sons and died. They were able to the daughters that they had were able to inherit their land. But a qualification was put on it, that they can only marry within their tribe. Otherwise, the tribe would lose land. So all throughout the year, there was no intermarriage between the tribes of Bnei Israel. But the only day when it was allowed was on Tisha B'av. Tisha B'av was the only day when they can make shidduchim outside of their own tribe. So it's a really happy day. For many, many years, it's not really celebrated.
No,
but
right.
Recently, it's been, as you said, it's like the Jewish Valentine's Day. I think it's even better than Valentine's Day.
I agree, but
Valentine's Day, I think, is sort of like,
commercialized.
Yeah, a little bit. It's a little bit. It also deals with, someone that you're already with. This is a day to, for people to meet new people. And I think it's pretty cool. I'm into it. I think it's a different way. It's certainly not the what I would term as the traditional way to meet people. It's sort of, especially the more religious you get, the less it is where you have men and women interacting. But that being said, I think it's pretty neat. I think this is this is something from the Gemara where it was talked about. So it's pretty religious.
Yeah.
Anyway, there's no products to sell. We don't have white clothing. can't sell you much products. Although we do have
I mean, we have white kippahs, but that kind
we
of.
have white kippahs, right? I mean, if you're a girl and you wear kippahs, and you want to wear white kippahs, so we
Yeah.
can supply you that. But we'll link at the bottom of the page to all of the Tisha B'av books that we have. But you know, act quick because it's not
Order today.
Yeah, well, it's also not something like Tisha B'av is not really a holiday you want to prepare for.
Right.
And our hope, obviously, is that next year we won't have to celebrate Tisha B'av.
Right.
The redemption will come. We won't have to celebrate. I actually usually find it very. I like to prepare in advance. I actually don't even like to buy books for it. I've never purchased a book in my life. My wife had one, so that's the only one we have. And obviously, from the shul that we go to,
Right.
they have stuff. But yeah, if you have any questions, again, comments. Again, also code wisdom.
Mm-hmm. That'll give you 5% off your order.
Right. Okay. And one other service announcement. Chana has been dealing with a lot of people that are buying tubas, and we just want to make a quick service announcement. Make sure to read the text. That's what I'm saying, right? Because
we want to make sure that you're getting the right text.
Because the last thing we want to do is have it show up to your wedding and not be the one you want. The rabbi approves of.
Right.
You know, we want to make sure that it's so proofread, right?
Yeah, and if you're not sure and you want to ask us, we're
Always
more than
ask.
happy.
We're happy to ask.
Send you whatever you would like, get you all the information, but we want to make sure that it's right so that when it arrives, you're completely happy with it.
And exactly, we want to make sure you're happy, which is the thing. Just so please look at it, look at the text. The last thing I would like to say is just a shout out to my father-in-law, who actually just came out of surgery today. He had he broke his hip, I think. So he just had surgery. He had to fly back to the United States for it. He broke it in Portugal. So it was a pretty big deal. But he should have a complete recovery.
Yes.
And we will have an easy fast.
Yes.
Hopefully we won't have to fast. But if it ends up being that the redemption hasn't come,
right,
we'll fast on Saturday night. Should be an easy one. And then obviously next week, party hard.
Yeah.
All right. Have a great day.